Yo,
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 118. PTR has no backgrounds, the title of
what
this
is that?
episode.
Why is there no image for you? Hmm.
Give you a sec to fix it real
Yeah.
quick.
We'll give you my
What am I getting?
motorcycle that I'm trying to sell. How about that? What else do I have? Everything.
That's fine. I can just be
I like
transparent.
that.
Oh,
That's my
nice.
motorcycle. Are
Okay.
you
Okay.
interested?
That's a nice bike. I can churn. Can I churn and look like I'm riding
Ride it. Ride it, dude. Wow, you look so fast.
it? Riding wheelies. Welcome to the new meta, episode 118.
118. Wow, wow, wow.
118 times Fluff and I have dominated
Put
the
up with each
podcast
other.
scene.
Mm-hmm.
How was your week, man? It seems like it's been a long time since the last podcast, but it's really just been the usual amount. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think
It's
it's
been
because you don't have a job.
yeah, could be. Yeah, maybe. So toxic, man.
Yep.
So toxic, man. All right, well, with that, we're gonna get into the old poll. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. I don't care.
Fair. Fair enough. So last week we asked, I can pull up the thing. What were your impressions of the Q3 Diablo 4 update? Absolute poggers, a nice step in the right direction, mediocre, unplayable.
Hmm. Absolute poggers one, of course. I'm gonna go with mediocre. I think mediocre one. I think it's a
Yeah,
step in the right direction, personally.
yeah.
But
I'm like in between mediocre and step in the right direction.
it's a baby step in the right direction.
Yeah. So I'll just say nice step. Smile. Wow.
Oh, there we go. Look at
60%
that.
of the votes is a nice step in the right direction.
Look at that domination.
29% of us says mediocre. 6% of us says unplayable. And 4% says absolute poggers. So,
I'm surprised more people voted unplayable than poggers. That's funny.
yeah. There's been pretty. I was impressed almost with the Diablo forums. At first, I think maybe before a lot of content creators had made videos yet, and like to give people good insight, maybe people were like, "Oh, this looks great," because they didn't really like drill down into the skill tree and see what it was, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
once people kind of like
Yeah, I
us
think the more you
enlighten the
analyze
people,
it, the
yeah,
more you're like, oh crap,
right,
you know.
yeah.
So I agree with that 100%.
So
We've had a lot of PTR stuff. So then the next poll, the new poll for next week is
yeah.
talking about that.
What are your thoughts thus far on PTR D3?
Mhm.
Poggers? I expected more. Just right.
Okay.
Spin that in chat.
All right.
Good luck. We're not gonna say shit. I mean, we're gonna talk about it, but
We are gonna talk about it, but not for a little bit.
all right.
Yes. So I guess by a little bit, I mean like 4 seconds. Let's talk about PTR. What did did you play it a little bit, right?
Yeah. So right out of the gate, it was a little bit of a debate, but I guess let's hear your thoughts first. So, Filthy Rich gets on the Thursday basically and says, "Hey, by the way, PTR is gonna be 2 weeks, and week one we're only gonna test the changes that we're making, and week two will be, the fourth cube and the seasonal theme and like all the juice that's like
Yeah.
based on the season."
But they put that in the actual blog though.
What?
Yeah, that was in the actual blog. If you
I don't think so.
read down, yeah, I
No,
have it.
no way.
So if you go down phase one, it's like on the very top. It says PTR focus and details, and it says
But
phase one we introduce the items, and then phase two is when we introduce the seasonal
oh,
theme.
that's
So
stupid. I don't think this was there. Edited.
it totally,
Edited.
yeah, it totally wasn't there ever. No, so it was there. I think that that's something that they've introduced, and although I think I do have feedback on that style though. I think it makes sense because they want to introduce the legendary items that are going to stick around after the season's over. So they want to get valid feedback, and I think they really want leaderboard data too for the legendary item changes. I think it's too long though. I think that an entire week of testing for that phase alone might be a little bit too long, and then not giving us enough time with the seasonal theme content as well. So I would maybe shorten that to like, 3 days. It'd be nice if they would drop the PTR on like, Tuesdays or Wednesdays, so we had the week to test it. Or and then they could drop the seasonal theme on a Friday, and then we have the weekend to test that too, or all the things. But I also think that when they drop the seasonal theme content stuff, it's going to be seasonal. Usually it's seasonal. I don't know for sure, but I would think usually it's going to be seasonal, which requires you to level up a character and actually like re-level legendary gems and do all these things that kind of suck to have to do for a testing phase.
Sure.
So I would hope that they would make the seasonal theme just active on non-season. So you can already have all your juice and all your characters and all your stuff, and you can just go straight to testing, and you don't have to waste, hours trying to just, basically beta test for them.
Well, I mean, yeah, the legendary gems releveling kind of sucks, but I don't know, with the dank memes there, it's pretty easy these days.
The dank memes, you can get your gear pretty easily. Yeah, but you still got to level the gems. And especially if you wanted to augment to test true power. I personally don't augment on PTR, but I know a lot of people do to really, really get a feel for the power. And you still got to level up, and they give you like a 300% experience bonus. So it's not as bad, but it's like, why make us go through the process if we're not testing the leveling phase? We're not testing the curve or the time. It's just there. So just apply it to non-season, in my opinion.
They could just have dank memes sell like level 100 gems or something.
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
And then you could augment 100. You could, whatever.
That'd be kind of cool. That's a good idea too. Yeah, I like that. So, but yeah. So PTR was cool. We jumped into it. I did. I've tested most of the sets. The only one I haven't really tested is the Hydra Wizard. But I started off, so like today we tested the Necro. I hadn't really played with the Necro since the PTR for last season. I didn't play the new Necro set at all.
Okay.
On retail, and I know this is probably one that you tested a lot too. So I'm interested in your feedback. But I feel like maybe I didn't test it very well last time, but it feels better than I remember testing it in PTR. The bracers are a valid option for Necro that doesn't have any bracers in that spot. However, I feel like it takes away Nemesis, which are actually like kind of useful in that slot because you get extra progression when you get the pylons. So if that damage could have been added somewhere else, like maybe just in the set itself or something, that might have been good.
Yeah,
but
literally what I said last week is I hate more damage multipliers, and it doesn't even like make it do anything else. It's just like, hey, here's just more damn.
So like, what it does, it requires you to wear that item.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then so now you can't squeeze Nemesis bracers in there with that set because you lose too much damage.
Sucks.
So, but I will say though that for a push build, it felt okay. The play style was decent, and if you use Briggs to group the enemies up, you use Briggs Wrath, and when you cast your Frailty Aura, it will group the enemies up on your Frailty Aura. And so manipulating the positioning of mobs and shooting the poison spear through packs of trash to get the penetrate damage buff to blow the elites up, it was kind of fun to do. But I had a good time on it. And then for speed builds, I felt like it sucked. I tried to make it into a good speed build, and I liked Singularity or like any other, Necro speed build more than that one. I just felt like it was clunky and didn't feel smooth. So what's your thoughts? Tell me about your feedback on it, since that's your.
Yeah, so obviously it's like the first thing I tested, because Necro is life. The same feedback that I gave last week is it being a bracer with more damage just feels bad. It just basically gives us less options but more damage. So I don't love that. And to your point, in a sense, that losing the Nemesis for speed, it slows it down for sure. It definitely, not being able to run Nemesis bracers inside of a speed farm version of that setup really feels bad. But the good thing is like there's no Ingyam or anything like that you're reliant on. So it's not like make or break like it would be for like pestilence setup for speed or something like that, but it still doesn't feel great. And then on top of that, it felt pretty darn good for speed. I think I was speeding like 115s in 3 minutes. Do
you know what setup you were using off the top of your head?
Yeah, my Ice Spear build.
You're using Ice Spear,
mm-hmm.
And then so did you? I'm assuming you didn't use Stewart's, I imagine, because the 115 is probably too high for that. So like when I was trying to make like just a 100 105 just smoke speed build. And like I saw, I was throwing the Stewart's on to try to get movement speed. I threw Nemesis in there just to try to get him for the pylons, and that felt horrible because he didn't have the damage. So I ended up taking those back off. And then I was using the ice, and you had the offhand that gave you movement speed with cold damage. And it was okay. I didn't have a generator, so I was running a non-generator build. So if you actually screwed up and used up all your essence, then you were like screwed. You literally had no way to get it back. Which most of the time was okay, but
I just posted a link. So this is the setup. So you just run captains, actually, even though you don't really stacking cooldown, you end up stacking cooldown just to get the damage. And then you stack attack speed, and you don't run Stewart's at all. You just rely on lost time.
Yeah.
And run frost burns. I think we're dropping. Wait, what?
Do you have squirts in the cube?
Yep, squirts in the cube or on your person.
Yep.
Really, really easy. Really, really strong.
So how are you not taking damage for the squirts? You just avoiding damage altogether, or do
honestly,
you have a shield?
If you could stay at range, it's great because you are running his eyes here, and you're running Serration. So you kind of don't want to be up in their face. And you can proc, your crispy at range because of Bone Prison and Frost Burns.
Right.
So you don't have to be in their face. And then if they do get up in your face, you can Bone Armor Dislocation so that they don't touch you. But I will say, the uptime on squirts isn't 100%. That's for sure. I'd probably, on a good run, I'm at like 60, 70% uptime.
Cool.
So.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we'll check that one out. So I tried several different setups, and I had chat in there with me, and they're giving me suggestions and the stuff that I tried to, and it felt. We had some okay runs, but all in all, the whole time I just kept thinking I think I like Singularity Mages more. That's just in my head. I'm like, I feel like I would be going faster with Singularity Mages. Like Lon Singularity would just do better.
I don't think it would. Unless we get that fourth cube stuff, but this is without the fourth cube, so I think that this is the best now that the Necro has to offer for speed, because again, I was doing a 115 3 minutes pretty consistently. That's pretty strong, and I was able to go into a 127 literally second try, not even hard. So that's probably about the range that they're at. But if we look at the boards real quick, oh my god, is that 12,810 Paragon? Jesus fucking Christ.
It's totally legit. It's legit.
If we go down to the most decent, this guy is at 5K. We'll say that's decent.
I one keyed with the push build setup. I one keyed a 120 and had 6 or 7 minutes left on the very first time I even played the setup.
Yeah,
it was definitely powerful. I'm still trying to figure out how it works, and I'm like, oh man, and just smashing the 120 out. So
here's a good representation. 131 with 3.3K. That's pretty. I think that's almost in the ballpark, maybe a little over the ballpark, but definitely strong. But again, once you get the fourth cube slot in this bad boy, it's game over, because you get Shadow Hook and you get all the runes on Simulacrum, so you get Reservoir for free. So you're getting a 300 minimum 300% increased damage, separate multiplier. So that's gonna be pretty insane.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. So we'll see how that pans out. But that's really all there. That's the part that was really sad to me ultimately, because it's I'm excited to get on PTR and let's test out these bracers, let's test out the damage, and okay, that felt strong. Oh wait, I gotta wait a whole week to test. And then what makes it worse is I am leaving town on Thursday, the day that they're doing the changes, so I can't even get in there. Man. And then what makes it worse is, say even if we get that break between seasons, we're not going to get the fourth cube. So I'm literally not going to be able to touch the fourth cube until the season starts. and that makes me dead on the inside.
No fourth cube for you, man.
So that really
sucks. Come back 1 year. You know? Well, it's okay. You can text me some stuff like, hey man, P, did you try this?
Yeah, try this, dude.
Try this. Hey, I was thinking about it on the plane. Did you try this? So so that's Necro. I'll try your build. You linked it in chat. I'll check out your build and see if I like that cold setup a little bit more, because I wasn't really feeling the ones that we put together. I just didn't feel as fluid as I would have wanted it to. I tried Crusader, the new bombardment, Thorns Juice, and it's not broken at all. It's pretty normal. Oh wait, yeah, 150s. It's crazy. It's crazy powerful. My feedback on it is, so you throw Invoker in the mix, and Invoker 2-piece basically gives you a Thorns multiplier every time you block an attack. So what you do with the set is you just stack a whole bunch of block stats everywhere, and when you start blocking, you get everything grouped up and you start blocking attacks. And when you see your Thorn stacks get 25, 30, somewhere in that range, you pop your bombardment, and you watch everything just explode on the screen, and it's pretty crazy. To me personally, I think the play style is kind of boring to play. Specific Rift Guardians really suck to play, and the mechanic, I feel like, is going to be hard for casuals to pick up, especially they probably won't understand it at all to begin with, and then I think it's a little bit hard to manipulate. So I hope that they nerf this set and change the play style of this set. So one way they could do it is just take the Invoker stacks and have the cooldown be longer on the Invoker stack. So right now it hits, and I think you get 2 seconds, but each stack has its own individual timer. So you basically need to block a shit ton of attacks right in a row to get the stacks to go up. So either have the stacks share the same timer, but then cap the stacks at 15 or 20 or 25 or something, in the reasonable range. And that would be a way to limit the damage on the set and make it to where a little bit more casual friendly for people.
What makes it not casual friendly, I guess?
I think manipulating the stacks is going to be, I don't think a lot of people are going to understand how it works at first. And I mean, I guess if they watch YouTube videos and see people playing it, that they'll figure it out. But I just don't think it's super obvious. When you look at the build, I don't think it's a super obvious thing that jumps out at you. I think most of them are going to run around and see their bombardments that auto cast doing damage and be like, oh, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? And not even realize that that's really not, the auto casted bombardments are pretty annoying because they're killing your trash that you need to stack up to get your big area damage. You know what I mean? So, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people will instantly get that, but regardless, I think that it's still not fun to play because it's so just RNG heavy. It's like, okay, let's gather all the trash up, and then after we spent time doing that, it's like, now I'm gonna go stand in the middle of this trash and just stare at my buff bar until I see my stack break 25, and it's fluctuating so fast, right? It's like 15, 25, 10, 9, 8, 7, 32. And it's like you're just constantly jumping around. So as soon as you see it go above 25, you're like, oh, press the button. And then hopefully you didn't die in that time period. So I don't know. It's just not, it wasn't fun. And it wasn't a super compelling set to me. It wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't fun. But some people probably like it. Like there's sets that I dislike quite a bit that people love. Like Jade Harvest for me is super boring and I don't like it. I'm not a fan, but people love that set. So to me, I didn't like it. I didn't think it was that fun. And but I think that's a way that they could make it more, I don't know. I don't know if that would actually make it, like, limiting the stacks and putting a little bit longer timer on the Invoker buff would nerf the damage and make it easier to manipulate. But do we want it to be easier? I don't know. I'm not really sure,
Yeah. So. To me, this is kind of a weird one because you're wearing 4 sets here. And you can't really nerf Invoker without nerfing pure Invoker. And this is like, goes back to the whole mix match, set argument that it's just so weird to balance around. So yeah, I don't know what the solution is here, because that's going to be tricky to nerf, because obviously this needs to get nerfed. But but what do you do?
Yeah, and it seems like the damage, I don't feel like this was intended.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the design of this was intended for Thorns. I think that like for Invoker to be part of the set. I feel like this set was designed to probably run with the Akan set and then to just have your Thorns damage be a thing from the pony from the two-piece weapon and shield, right? So they buffed that from 100 damage to 400% damage, but that's still that damage. Even so, like my thought process initially when I saw this was like, dude, what if we make like a T16 or a speed GR run that uses the weapons, and then you can use the Thorns setup on the steed charge to like run through enemies, and then they'll just die to the Thorns damage, right? But you can't even get the damage high enough for that to work in 16s. And then so I'm like, well, there goes kind of the T16 speeds and the GR speeds. And so there are some bombardment speeds that you can pull off, but it's not going to compete with Wave of Light or God DH. So it's kind of just like, what am I going to run this? No, I'm just going to make a God DH to farm keys on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I think
I don't know, man.
Probably, if I'm sorry, I'm just like thinking about this in my head. I think you move to 2-piece to like 4 or 6, and you're probably fixed
On Invokers.
Yeah, because then they can't run.
I think that kills it straight up.
Well, yeah, it killed this setup. I don't think that this setup is a purposeful thing, like a four sets.
So then what's the thing then? Like, because I don't think the other setup even works at all. So then you just buff the Thorns damage on the 2 pieces again to compensate for that big change. I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem like this seems really weird, and I don't even know how to balance it because, like, okay, if you change the Invoker set, then is this even gonna work? Period. I don't think it does. I don't think there's enough damage without it. And then I think the only reason that this even works in the first place is because there's like some buggy mechanic with the barrels. So the bombardment barrels have a way where they can like stack on top of each other, like multiplier wise. Like there's some kind of really weird mechanic that goes on behind the scenes with that. I heard SVR talk about it a little bit, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't have any idea, but it seems like that's the only reason it works in the first place. So we'll see what they end up doing with this. I think it's super OP, and it's people are going to like it because it's OP. That's really it. I mean, people like power, and they'll play whatever has power. And so if this stays in a super powerful state like it is, you're going to see a lot of this next season. I personally don't think I would play it because I don't think it's engaging enough. I think it's a pretty snorefest build myself, but some people will probably like it. So,
did you play with anything else on the Crusader?
We used I tested that pretty heavily, and then I tested the pony to try to get some pony builds that didn't use bombardment at all, and that's really it. I don't think they had. I think maybe Rollins got changed, but I didn't test that. So
yeah, I overall, the Crusader buffs, I think other than this like hidden thing, were pretty underwhelming. I do really, really like the Norvalds though. Like that being relevant is such an awesome thing. Like Crusader like always kind of sucked at speed. And so like that's such a good change. And I'm really excited to play, like the Heavens thing.
The way it works now though is it buffs the damage, but it doesn't let your pony do any of the damage. So you're just gonna speed. Maybe you could just speed to elites and you do like more of a snipe build.
Exactly. Or you could just like you can literally like the way it works is you can just pony. Like you're not just walking, for like all through the map. Before you'd run that stupid aura that would like get you speed up temporarily or whatever, and that was the only way you could really move faster on a Crusader. Or you wait on your cooldown for your horse. But now you just get it. Like anytime you want it, you just have it, which is fantastic.
Yeah. The problem that I've seen with the builds that utilize it though is that they're all bombardment based. And so you're literally running to an elite fast, and then you're just sitting there waiting for your bombardment to hit them and blow them up and get the orbs and then go to the next one. And it's I mean, 4 seasons ago it would have been sick, right? But by today's standards, I feel it's pretty slow. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm spoiled because, like I said, man, God DH and Wave of Light are just.
Yeah, I think you're too used to like trash clearers or something. Like at speed, you can be a Pestilence Necro and clear just as fast as like a Wave of Light, and all you're doing is killing elites, like, which is fucking crazy. So yeah, I mean, you could totally turn this into like an elite killer or just a big pack killer, whatever.
But if you're sitting there waiting for your bombardiers to drop, I think it slows you down a lot. So
sure.
you could probably mix this in
But
with
I'm just
the
talking about
Fisher build.
Norvalds. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
bomb.
yeah. You could probably mix it in with the Fishers or Holy Shotgun
Yeah.
and just pony to things and pop them.
And that's one of the things I'm like actually really excited to test is like the version of the heavens that I like to play, and having that 4th cube slot would be pretty sweet for that build. So especially with Norvalds. Norvalds overall is just gonna be great for next season having the 4th cube, because like you can just run Norvalds and then whatever you probably were running before, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see how this plays. But again, I don't want this to be balanced around the seasonal theme either, because that's not what it's going to be around after that. So I hope, because I don't want to get into scenarios where we have like the Whirlwind build that like, hey, they buff Whirlwind, and then it was really relevant for that season because we had the extra cube, or we had the free Royal Ring. So like that'll be back this season because we have the free Royal Ring slot if we want it.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to like spend an entire dev cycle designing a set that's only really relevant during that season, and then the next season it's gone again because you don't have the cube slot. So I hope that they get this right without the cube, and if the cube breaks it a little bit, that's just the seasonal theme.
I still kind of think the cube might go forward. I don't know. We'll see.
You think it's gonna be a permanent deal?
I don't know, because like it just unlocks so much more. Like, you know, barbs can use FNR, and like it's just there's so much you can do with it. It's crazy. It's not like Rorg was like nice because you could like wear like a thing with your set, but an extra cube slot to do whatever you want with is like, that's big. That's so big.
Yeah, I don't think that'll stick around forever.
Well,
I'll be surprised on that, man. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, that was the Satyr test.
Demon Hunter.
No, didn't touch it. I played so much this season and they didn't change anything. Like, you're just gonna get an extra cube slot for God DH. So yeah, it's gonna be better than it is this season.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see. I'm just looking at the board real quick. For comparison purposes, there's a 136 at 3.3.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna push it. I mean,
it's crazy to me that this happens PTR after PTR, where people get on when there was no change to like this, the God, but people like go push with it on PTR. It's like, what? Why? What are you doing? Right. Nothing changed.
I mean, did a 130 with 1500 Paragon. You know what I mean? And like level 100 augments. It's super broken. And when you get, you know, and that's me not even like pushing it for real. Like, that's just fucking around. So when you get when it gets the 4th cube slot, I mean, it's gonna be. I don't see how it hasn't got nerfed. I expected a Demon Hunter nerf this cycle.
Yeah. We
didn't get it. And with that 4th cube slot, it's going to be doing, I mean, it's already doing 150s. It's going to be doing more 150s. So, but that I'm past the point of caring, really. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. Just let everything do 150s, I guess. That's the marker. I mean, you know, like,
I guess now.
You know, 130 was supposed to be the balance point, but it's just like let's do 150s, you know?
Yep.
So,
and then Monk.
Yeah, I tested Monk a little bit. I did the Shenlongs. It was, it just wasn't enough. It didn't have enough damage buff. It didn't have enough damage. That set in general just doesn't have enough damage reduction. There's no damage reduction built into the set whatsoever. Into the Monkey Kings, I think, is the generator set. But you have to wear items to get your damage reduction. To me, I'm not a huge generator monk player. I didn't play it when it was a thing. I didn't play it that season or however many seasons it was. But it felt pretty weak to me. I don't know, man. They needed some more love. And Wave of Light got juiced up a little bit, but I felt like it wasn't enough either. And I think Wave of Light's one of those things that's going to be super hard to balance out because it's going to scale based on the more trash you have. So if they keep going crazy with it, then it could end up being ridiculous, you know, if you get the big enough pulls. So yeah. I don't know how you balance it really well.
Yeah, but reference, we're at a 125 at 3.6.
Yeah.
Which will get better with Shenlongs with the 4th cube, but compared to everybody else, they're going to be still pretty weak.
Yeah, he didn't even have the weapons on.
Oh, right, because you can't yet.
Yeah.
You need a 4th cube.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't know. We'll see how it ends up playing out. But again, that's going to be balanced around that fourth cube slot, and it still feels weak. So I hope like that actually it seems like a pretty fun set to play mechanically. Like I kind of enjoyed it, what I played of it. So I hope that they get that one balanced out a little bit better, or maybe with the fourth cube, it'll end up being pretty nasty. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Underwhelming Juliana, you know?
Yeah, Wave of Light or Tempest Rush, Sun Wukong still seems to be the thing for Monk. I think that's like the highest. And then there's some Justice Monks that seem to be doing pretty decent too, but it's all Tempest Rush. It's
Yeah.
which is I think the same as this season. I haven't paid that much attention to the Monk leaderboards in live, but I think it's the same stuff. So
And
it's
then
like
a Witch Doctor. Again, people are pushing Moon to Nugu. It's like, it's so annoying because you want to see how good that new stuff's doing, but everyone's just like pushing Moon to Nugu.
Yep. Chicken? I don't know, man. Chicken still feels really bad to me. I played Chicken, and I was excited for Chicken. I think that was a set that would be fun. I think Chicken's got problems in that Chicken's still pretty squishy, and it's got super inconsistent killing power on elites. And so what I mean is if you go Chicken and you run through the rift and you find a blue pack and it's a 5, if it's a 5 blue pack, you're not going to kill them. Like, you might as well keep going. If it's a 3 blue pack, maybe they'll be close enough that your bomb will cover all 3 and blow them up, but chances are it's not going to every time. And then if you don't kill them, then you're kind of sitting there holding yourself, waiting for, to get back and to blow them up again. I feel like the issues with Chicken, it needs to have a bigger explosion radius so you can cover. There either needs to be a bigger explosion radius, or it needs to do some kind of mini explosions around it, like to cover a bigger area of things if they want it to be viable. Chicken's not going to push anyways, and I just feel like it needs some kind of change to be viable, because it's right now it's not, man. You're just going to run Mundanugo Sprinkler and run through shooting Mundanugo stuff out of your head, killing the entire screen, because that's a fantastic speed build.
Well, it's still kind of short-sighted to think that the chicken's going to be the thing that's killing everything. It's just like the Crusaders. Like, you're not going to be killing anything while you're in the horsey. It's like to get from point A to point B faster, and maybe to do a little bit more damage because it's a Witch Doctor. It's a little different, but
I feel like the fantasy of the chicken is to chicken bomb, like to just blow them up, and that's what it kind of used to be back in the day too. But I feel like it's the chicken bomb. I mean, you could already run from point A to point B with chicken set, so why even change it? If the point is just to kill them with other things, we already had the chickens. It's not like they added the items to the game.
Yeah,
like they buffed the damage, and which is I think that's the intent, is to allow you to blow things up, but it just needs a bigger radius. It needs something to get more things killed, because right now it's just too inconsistent. And the only reason you would play it now is just because you want to play it. It's not.
Well, isn't that the Witch Doctor itself?
Yeah, pretty much. It's not. The Montenegros is just better in every way. So it's like, let's, at least for T16s, right? Let's make chicken pretty nasty for T16s. It's fine if you don't use it in GRs, but let's juice it up for some 16s. That's my opinion. So, and then I played Zombie Bears. Initially I thought Zombie Bears was a crap skill, and I wasn't going to like it at all. And the reasoning for that is the Zombie Bears start to summon behind your character.
Yeah.
And they have an animation where they travel through your character forward, but only like, I don't know, 15 yards, 20 yards tops. Like, it's a super short distance before they start to fade away. They don't go through objects. They don't go through walls. They don't go through anything. So it like land items get in the way. And I thought it was going to be crappy. And then I started playing it, and I actually enjoyed the set, man. I actually had fun with it. The damage was super lacking. They need to juice the damage up quite a bit still. But as far as the play style, I actually enjoyed it, man. It was really depressing to say, because, I shit on Witch Doctors all the time. But Mundanugo was one of my favorite sets. And I honestly feel like if they juiced up Zombie Bears, I would actually like Zombie Bears quite a bit too. So it would have some pretty solid things, especially chicken. If they got chicken in a good spot too, then like Witch Doctor could actually be like, God damn, it'd be fun to play.
Yeah. The more I see it, like, I'm glad you changed your mind about zombie bears. But like when I was watching some of the gameplay, and like as I've continued to watch gameplay from some of these old sets, they all play so similar. Like Firebats really plays just like zombie bears. And like to an extent, when you really push with Jade, it also kind of like you're just like generating density per nado, and then like I don't know.
Bears and in the face. Yeah, you're like wall of deathing now. So like you get everything grouped up, you throw a death down to get your damage bonus, and then you channel zombie bears.
Yeah.
And so, but it's more. It feels like there's things that you're trying to do the whole time. It's like, okay, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. Instead of just like, well, I'm just gonna stand here and press this one button
Right.
and just watch things die. So, I feel like it definitely needs some things. I think the zombie bears should move faster still. I still think the animation's way too slow. Like if you get the exploding dogs, like they haul ass and it's really cool looking. And I'm like, look, can we get the bears to just move that fast? The bears need to go through walls. They need to be like, it's pretty bad getting them caught on everything. But it's okay, man. I think people will genuinely like the build too. It's a fan favorite. So.
Yeah.
I think it's a win. They just got to get the damage knocked out, and then,
Yep.
you know.
And then finally, the wizard.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with wizard, man. It's so broken, dude. It's not even a thing. Like I don't like the twister wizard set stuff that they tried to implement is like not even really playable, because if you get any kind of density, you're breaking the server with lag. You can't. It's got plenty of damage. You just can't control the damage. The damage goes all over the place. So there'll be moments when you actually get your tornadoes to go where you want them to, and it just does some sick damage and things.
It's literally you're literally describing like what was that, season 12? No, no, earlier than that, season like
10, 9.
8,
Yeah,
9 or something. Yeah.
And it's so it's like crazy damage. You just can't get your tornadoes to do what you want them to do, and the AoE breaks the game, and it's I don't know, man. It just doesn't work. The death wish is bugged where you can like spam the button like you remember stutter stepping with the Crusader set when it first came out?
Yep.
So there's like this stutter step mechanic style thing going on where you can just spam the channel, and the death wish has like this unique thing where it'll stack those channels up instead of just getting one. It'll like give you multiple. And so then you end up doing like crazy damage because you're spamming the button and like stutter stepping it kind of. And it's just in general just needs to be reworked a little bit. And again, you're channeling shit. Like you're not casting the twisters, you're channeling, and then the twisters are being cast for you by Etch Sigil, which is like feels bad, man, because every wizard set since fucking forever ago is like ever since Death Wish and Etch Sigil and Mantle of Channeling kind of became this synergistic thing. It's been channel this thing. It's Talrash's channel meteors. It's now Energy Twister channel, Hydra channel, everything channel, just channel on a wizard. You know what I mean? So they've taken Cyclops to the next level. So it'll be cool, man. I think it's going to get reworked somehow. I don't know how, but I don't see how that moves forward. I don't know how that goes live. And then Hydra is, I haven't played Hydra yet, but I'm sure it's powerful and good. It was the top tier set last season. It's going to get better with the cube, and they buffed Hydra items, so it should be even better. So I haven't played Hydra at all.
Yeah, seems to be pretty strong. For reference, we have a 135 with 3K with the Typhoon Hydra. So probably a little too strong, actually.
Yeah.
So I read something that like the Frozen Orb was actually bugged. It was like exploding too many times or something.
I don't know. That could be a thing too. I'm not really sure. So I didn't play Frozen Orb a lot. I actually did try Frozen Orb. I don't really like Frozen Orb in general. It's not a play style I gravitate to. So I didn't spend a lot of time on it. But the problem I think that you have with Frozen Orb is you can't control the placement of the orb. Like when you shoot the orb, it travels 30, 40 yards. I don't remember the exact number, and then it blows up.
I always like that about Frozen Orb.
So, but you can't. It doesn't detonate when you shoot a thing, or it doesn't detonate on the mouse cursor placement, or
But it's
I
just a
think if it
matter of
detonated,
memorizing that distance.
yeah,
Really.
memorize the distance, and then you have to constantly stay at that distance and
Yeah.
manipulate it around. And I think that's personally why I don't like it. But
I always
some people
enjoyed that
probably do.
about it. Yeah.
But
Different.
it's just not something that I gravitate to. But there's so many Frozen Orb fans that like I'm not going to shit on it because people love that build.
Yep.
So
Frozen Orbs is always
um,
one of my favorite speeds. It's a bit
yeah.
squish, but
It feels
I
like you
embrace
need
it.
to clear the entire rift when you're doing Frozen Orb. It feels like you have to walk things down because the second you go in too deep and you get surrounded, then you don't have a retreat for that orb to get that orb placement where you want it, and it's start getting in trouble. That's what I remember from playing it back when it was a thing. I don't know if that's still the thing, but
I don't ever
um,
speed with it, so I have no idea.
oh, okay. So yeah, I didn't do speeds. We were doing the like a
Push.
push build. So is that it? Did we color all the classes? What
Yep.
did we miss?
Easy. Wait, Barb.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Barb got Leapquake juice, and it's Leapquake,
Double
man.
Lead Quake Juice. Did you see that bug?
Yeah, if you no, what bug was there?
You
Bug?
can wear the Legacy Blade of Tribes plus the current Blade of Tribes.
Oh no, I didn't
Yeah.
see that. I didn't even notice that. But no, we didn't end up doing that. But we did play Barb and we did Leapquake, and it feels better than it. Like, so Leapquake was one of the first sets that I remember grinding out pretty hard in like one of the early seasons,
Same.
like season 1, I think. Even I specifically remember being in Torment 3, missing like a piece and running with all barbs to stack the group so we could share the pieces. And I got a piece some other guy needed. I gave it to him, and then he got and gave it to me. Like, I remember that whole interaction with these pugs, and it was fun. And I hate manipulating Leapquake after a day. I can play it for one day, and then I'm like, okay, like this leap mechanic starts to make me like lose my mind because it doesn't go where you always want it to and things. But it feels better than back then. So now we were using Seismic Slam as a rage dump, and back when I played it before, I think we were using Boulder Toss as a rage dump.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Seismic Slam definitely feels better. It synergizes. There's a belt you can put on that gives you extra damage when you Seismic Slam. So it's like, leap, 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 Seismic Slam. You can drop your shouts to get extra, earthquakes and stuff, and then leap, 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 drop your slam, drop your shouts. And so it feels very Leapquake, but it feels better than before. And it was okay power wise. Like, I mean, I think it's probably a little undertuned, but it was closer in range than some of the other sets I've played.
Yeah, we got a 127 at 2.9. So
yeah, I think it needs
low.
maybe a little juice, but it was close. And that 4th cube slot will obviously open up potential things too.
Yeah.
So,
and then F and R will oh my god, think of all the things that's going to open up. The Barb's going to go crazy next season with F and R.
Yeah, yeah. The cube's huge for Necro, and it's huge for Barb. I mean, it's huge for everything, but like, I feel like it does a lot of juice for Barb too.
Yep.
So,
yep.
It's gonna be cool. So yeah, I don't think they did. Did they do anything else for Barb besides Leapquake? I think that's it.
Yeah, I think they just gave him the one thing to keep him.
That's all I tested either way. So, but it was fun, man. We had a good time. PTR and all the stuff, and I don't know who's the winner of this patch yet. Like, usually there's a pretty clear winner. Like, like last season, it was Demon Hunter, hands down. Like, you're like, Demon Hunter is definitely the winner. Necro got juiced, and things like that. But if you had to pick a winner, I think it was pretty easy to pin the ribbon on Demon Hunter. I don't know what to do here because Crusader is super powerful. It's definitely going to get nerfed.
Yeah.
It's not going to go like this. So we have to see what they change with that. We got to see what they change with the Twister Wizard. And then I need to play Hydra more and see, if those changes made it super badass. But I'm kind of low key rooting for zombie bears to like be good. I know Wizard's like probably one of the most popular classes ever. So I think most people are probably going to root for Wiz to get something. I just don't know if Twister's it. I don't know if people love Twister enough to be like, yeah, bring Twisters back,
Yeah.
So
more Frozen Orb people want. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say like a winner. I guess obviously in terms of damage, Crusader wins the PTR right now. But that's obviously probably not going to go forward as it is. And then same thing, like Wizard, the Typhoon's looking good, Frozen Orb's looking good, but Frozen Orbs needs to be bugged. Typhoon's is probably overtuned. So who's the winner? I don't know. Once this all like the second round of patch notes hit.
I almost see this is like the same scenario. We remember when they dropped Monk on us the first time, that Justice set.
Yeah.
The very first time, and we were like, "What the hell is this?" Like, like it was bad. It was really bad. In case you guys forgot, it was really bad. And I think that the Justice set is actually like one of the better sets they've pumped out for the new sets. I think it's fun. It's still got some low key hidden bug that your stacks randomly drop sometimes, like if you make sharp turns. But aside from that, I think it's a pretty fun set. So, hopes are still high with this, but we'll see what ends up happening. I think Twister's got the most potential if they can figure out some kind of GG mechanic with Twister to make it cool. I think if they made your Twister to sit still where you cast it at, and then you can keep channeling into your Twister to make it do more damage or make a bigger Twister, I think that would be really cool.
Isn't that what the bracers do? They make it stay in place, right?
The bracers make it go in a straight line, I think. So, but it still can't control the damage really. It's weird, man. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with Wizard, but I think that'll, I assume Thursday I don't even know, man. I don't know if we're gonna get any updates to things on Thursday or if we're just gonna flip a switch and turn seasonal content on.
I would assume the path of least resistance would be just to turn on the seasonal theme, knowing Blizzard. So
yeah, it looks like the wand makes it go straight. Chat's correct. I mean, the wand makes it go straight. The bracers pull things into the tornado. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. I hope we get some changes though to test more. Like, I kind of wish that they would pull the PTR for a week. Like, we get it till Thursday, pull it down for a week, make your changes, put it back with the seasonal theme. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe not. I don't even know. But I feel like if we just get to turn the seasonal theme on and we don't get any of the legendary rebalance, like, well, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like,
I almost feel like the more Diablo continues to go down this road of like, well, we don't really care about balance anymore. Balance is kind of thrown out the window. I almost feel like they shouldn't even do PTR anymore.
Just give it to us, surprise us.
Honestly, like, give it to us and then do what they normally don't do and nerf things during the season. Because, I mean, do we care anymore about balance? I don't know. Maybe if they come out this season and everyone's doing 150s, day one on season with the bomb setup, people freak out and then that gets nerfed. But I don't know. Just do a leaderboard wipe, I guess. I don't know. I feel like the PTR definitely it generates hype in the middle of a season, which is kind of weird. But at the same time, it also degenerates hype for the season start because you already know it's going to be good. Because
you already know what you want to play and you already know how to build it out. So all that discovery is gone. That's the problem. Is there's no discovery. I kind of agree. I think if they didn't have leaderboards, would they give us a PTR? Probably not. They probably just change things on the fly all the time. Yeah. Right. They'd be like, we do like little mini patches all the time, 6 point, or 2.6.10.1, 0.2, 0.3, and just get constant changes as they fix things. I think that would be pretty badass to get more frequent updates, even if they were smaller. Because the problem that we have is like, I feel like we waited 4 months for this patch, or maybe even 5 by the time it goes live. And it's not, this isn't like the most significant patch we've ever had. This isn't like a season 13 patch,
right?
So it's like, I would rather, I think seasons get drawn out if they're more than 2 months. I think 2-month seasons should kind of be a thing, or we got to start doing some kind of mid-season events.
Yeah. Challenge leagues.
Season in a season, I think a season in a season would be badass, at least 1 or 2 a season. So those could generate some hype and some fun. But, and then they could play with things there too. If they did a mini season, they could just like do a balance for that season, for that little mini season. Like, okay, we're going to turn on whatever, or if we're doing this, and they could even use that as a testing grounds for things too. I don't know. Maybe that'd be a bad idea, but
but this kind of goes against, like, when we keep talking about Diablo 4 and, when we were both there and they're like, oh yeah, we're basically not going to have leaderboards in Diablo 4. Initial guttural reaction was like, then you look at Path of Exile where like we just talked about, they don't know what's going to be good until like the season comes out, and so the league comes out and everyone's excited because like, what are we going to discover? What's the new meta? And there is that like initial excitement, and it's fine if they do nerf something because like it doesn't matter in Path of Exile.
Yeah.
It's like the content that carries and how much
Worst
stuff
time
there
is you wasted your time building out a certain thing.
Yeah, and it just gets nerfed. It's like, well, shit, I'll just build something else, you know? So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
different.
I see the benefit there for sure. Like I agree the competition's good in leaderboards. I think if Diablo didn't have leaderboards and it got the same update cycle that it has, I think the game would be in a much worse state than
Yeah.
it's at. I think people would care even less, right? But if Diablo got more frequent updates that were maybe smaller but had no leaderboard, I think it could potentially be in the same or better state than it's in right now. At least it wouldn't highlight botters as bad.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, man, that's my PTR feedback in a nutshell. And then what else do we? Oh, yeah, I saw that you had some Magic the Gathering thing.
Yeah, like I thought
funny,
that
man.
this was interesting because like this Magic the Gathering fan gets on and he posts about how, you know, from the outside looking in as a non-Diablo player, and you look at the "Don't you guys have phones" meme, it's like to everyone else it's hilarious, but then he's like, well, wait a minute, is this what it felt like to be a Diablo fan?
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a Magic the Gathering fan, because I guess something happened where they're gonna come out with a new type of card or like a foil or something, and it's like pissing everybody off or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. He says The Walking Dead. So is the Walking Dead TV show like doing some kind of in-game events with Magic the Gathering or whatever this
I
is?
didn't care enough to
know.
read actually what he was talking about. I just found it interesting because that is right. Like we all,
Yeah.
and especially if you're not a hardcore Diablo fan, you look outside looking in, and it's like, oh, you know, Omega lol, don't you guys have phones? But like,
Yeah.
you know, when we brought up that video 2 weeks ago, like we were genuinely hurt about the announcement. It wasn't so much that it was like Omega lol. It was like, damn.
It was like, what the fuck? Yeah, we were mad. I get it. Yeah, I guess. I don't think you can understand somebody else's pain if you don't understand their desire or passion for a project. And so most, like, if you're here watching this podcast or listening to the podcast, you're clearly not a Diablo casual. You know what I mean? Like, you care about Diablo and ARPGs. So yeah, I guess, man, it's a bad feeling to do that. I would, you know, like if they did like a Walking Dead promotion in Diablo, what, you know, like I know they did some The Last of Us on Diablo for PlayStation 4. So like what if they did some, you know, Walking Dead promotion for Diablo 3 and it was just like, it was stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the big catch, right? It's like, I mean, I guess like let's say they had what's a TV show you don't like that most people like? Like, so say they had American Idol,
Kardashians.
Right? Like
they put Kim in the game.
American Idol weekend on Diablo 3, and you get like some glittery jacket, you know.
Yeah, and then for forever on, you're gonna see people running around in a glittery jacket,
right?
You know, like forever. You're just like, fuck.
That would really suck.
Yeah, that would suck, dude. So I mean, but we've had a conversation similar, like Christmas events. Like you dislike Christmas events in video games, and I actually like them. I think it's cool. So in WoW, when Christmas happens, I'll run around with a Christmas stocking cap on the whole time.
No, you won't. You're just triggering me.
No, I really do. I will, man.
No, you don't. Stop.
Yes, I do.
Just stop.
They have the little transformer machines you walk into, and it turns you into a gnome, either with a green or a red outfit. And I'm the green outfit, man. I keep walking into it till I get the green one.
You're full of shit. You're actually full of shit.
This is truth. So
it doesn't have a place, right? They shouldn't be walking around in Sanctuary and there's like, you know, candy canes and fucking like people are ice skating outside having a good time. No, it's
Sanctuary needs some joy. Like
no, it doesn't.
Once a year, those poor bastards have to get something. You know what I mean?
Fuck them. No.
So and then
no place. I thought this was crazy interesting. We talk about this all the time, right?
Well, yeah. I want your opinion too. So before, like, read the topic, and then I'm gonna ask you a question. Like, so
Yeah. So immediately this guy, he gets on Reddit and he's excited. He's achieved 880 hours in 3 months, and he finally hit 5,000 Paragon on PC.
Mm-hmm.
And one guess, chat, where this goes in the comment section.
Well, I'm going to ask you, do you think he botted that?
This is the thing, right? This is the thing that we keep saying time and time again. Your gut reaction is,
when you
bot.
read that,
right?
Fucking bot. And I thought the same thing. I actually saw this thread. I didn't put it in the notes because to me, I didn't even read it. I saw the title of the thread and I said, fucking bot. Like in my mind, that's what happened. I'm not even joking. And so, like, I read the thread and I read some of his replies, and I'm still skeptical personally, but
this is why I wanted to bring this up again, because it's so shitty that
it's not his fault.
It's not his fault that's what people's reaction is. And it sucks that even like we're taking away from his accomplishment, and he just wants to have this like little moment of glory. Like, he just hit 5K Paragon, which if he actually did it, good for you. I still don't know that I'd post that on Reddit, but at the same time, it sucks that the initial gut reaction is, okay, well, you're a bot, so like, who cares? Go away, and that's such a terrible feeling.
So, yeah, the thing, there's things in there that make me feel the way I feel, and I'm not gonna sit there and analyze the thread because maybe I'm skeptical, but I feel like somebody that's devoting 10 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and they're like, we did rats the whole time and this and that, and I'm like, well, how'd you get all the keys? You know what I mean? The thought process, my thought process is, as a logical person, like, that means you're doing XYZ normal 16s to get the keys, and you're doing all these things. Is it possible? Absolutely. Can somebody get 5,000 Paragon in the season? Yes, you can. How the amount of people that do it versus the amount of people I think that bot, I think it's little, but it's Blizzard's fault that this is a thing because they don't ever do anything about bots. So it's not this guy's fault. If he legitimately did it, dude, then congrats on busting your ass and getting it. If he cheated and he's bragging about getting it and he cheated, then he's a scumbag and karma will get him. You know what I mean? So like, either way, I don't care though. But the problem is that everybody's skeptical because Blizzard doesn't do anything about the bots, man. They have like no manpower devoted to like making the game feel clean. At least it doesn't feel clean ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I can go look at leaderboards and it's like 22-hour uptime on top. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. It's like without a doubt. So nobody's playing 4 months at 20 hours a day or 22 hours a day or probably even 19 hours a day or 17 hours a day. Like, that's crazy. It's fucking crazy. 4 months, 7 days a week, 20 hours. It's just, no, it's not happening, man. So, I feel for this dude, man. If he did it legit, my hat's off to you. But when I read it, I'm like, cheater. You know what I mean?
This is why it would be so good, time and time again, leaderboard filter. Imagine if you pulled up the leaderboards and the default filter was, I'm being compared against the guys that have in the realm of the same amount of uptime that I do. And then how much better are you going to feel about yourself, right? Even though in the grand scheme of things, maybe you're like rank 5,000, but if you're only playing 2 hours a week, maybe you're rank like 15. Who fucking knows? Like, and I think that there's so much value in that the Blizzard should capitalize on. It's like, you see a marathon and like, well, I got 100 place overall, but for my age group and my sex, I'm rank 2. And that you're like, wow, I'm doing really good. Even though in this whole thing, you did okay. Like, you did okay.
Or put the hours played on your leaderboard clear. Like, when you hover the mouse over, just be like, Paragon 5,000 hours played in the season, 1,200. And you're like, 12 fucking hundred. Are you okay?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
hover over with hours played and what set they're wearing would be fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Filters would be like a phenomenal thing. Yeah. I don't know how the API works, if they can even dig in. I mean, they obviously have the data, but it's like, can they hook into it? I don't know. But man, it would be really cool. It'd be cool if websites could hook into that API. I mean, could they just open up that data to like some of the websites, like, some of the ranking trackers?
I'm sure it's out there and available, but like, no one wants to do it, right?
Yeah.
Right. Um, before
go
you
ahead.
get into some of this other news, I want to
Okay.
kind of give a quick update on the happenings of Path of Exile. So,
Well, hold on. Before we jump into that,
okay.
in case people are listening, there are no podcasts. We should have started off with this.
Oh
There
yeah,
are
sure,
no
sure, sure.
podcasts for the next 2 weeks. Fluff's going to be out of town, traveling the world like he always does. So we're going to have the next podcast is going to be on Tuesday, the 27th, correct? That would be 3 Tuesdays from now.
Yep. True.
Okay. So October 27th is the next podcast, guys.
We could,
Cool.
like, if there's really juice, we could like push something to the 22nd or something, or we
Yeah.
just wait. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll talk when we get back.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good call out. But yeah, so basically, Heist has been out for some time now, and it's been pretty mixed, obviously. Not again, there's some pitfalls with heists and how exciting they are to run and like how rewarding they are, and they made a big patch this week so that at the bare minimum, it doesn't feel like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage for running heists, whereas before it was like, well, no, you don't really want to do heists, you just want to do like the grand heists and say F heist. But so now I've played it a bit. I've played like 2 nights of it now, or no, 1 night of it now, and it's like it doesn't feel worse to run heist than it did before, but I'm not sure. It still feels like, wow, this is like fun. It doesn't, like, running heist still doesn't feel fun, and that's my big complaint about.
Do you know why it doesn't feel fun?
Yeah, because you go in and then like your whole job is to just like, well, get as many treasure chests as you can for it, and then get the artifact and get the hell out of there. It's like there's no big brain aspect to it whatsoever, and it's very out of character for Path of Exile. It seems like there's not a lot of thought involved.
So is getting the treasure chest just blindly stumbling around and finding them?
No, like the map is already laid out before you go in there. It's not like you're
So do you have to
uncovering it.
memorize it, or can you pull it up in hand?
You
or does it
pull it
mark
up. You
it
can
on-
walk around with it on.
So you already have the full map
Yeah.
with the locations.
You can literally just like, keep it up the whole time, and you know exactly where you're going.
Hmm.
So you always know, and that's like, I guess that's the like challenging aspect to it, is like, well, I know the artifact room is there, and there's like 2 big chests before I get that. Am I going to have enough alert level to collect these 2 chests before I get to the artifact room? But that's like, it's not that complicated. So yeah, it just feels kind of bad. And before I would say like, well, even if you don't like the league mechanic, there's so much to sink your teeth into with this league that like, even if you don't like the new thing, it's still going to be really juicy. But the problem is all the new content is seemingly locked behind these new heists. So like the alternate gem qualities, the replica uniques, like you still have to do the heist to get the new things. So you can't just like get the new things without doing the new content.
Can't just do your maps or whatever. Get it? That sucks.
So, but there's the new skills and stuff like that. So there's always that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're. Yeah, I don't think that they're on their final iteration of heist. I'm sure we'll continue to see this thing progress and mold into something that's maybe a bit better.
Maybe when the league ends and if they drop this to just be in the game, that they'll put the unique item rewards that drop. Maybe they'll throw it out in the world too.
Yeah.
Just
maybe.
like say here, everybody can drop everything now.
It would be unfortunate if they can't figure out something with this, because this league was hyped pretty much since the start of Harvest.
Yeah, a lot.
This is our big budget league, and like there's a lot to it. Like to make these maps and to like make all these animations and add all these characters and this whole nother game type. Like obviously there's a lot of work there. It's just like it's not hitting.
And that sucks.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm interested to log in at the end of the day because it is new content and stuff like that. But I'm not in love with heist, and I can't really put my finger on it to a T. But it's just I don't feel excited to run heists when I get a ton of heists.
Maybe you would be excited to play Baldur's Gate 3.
What is this?
It dropped today, apparently.
What is it?
So it's Baldur's Gate 3.
Is that one of those like turn-based ARPGs?
Oh, this is like one of the godfathers of all. Did you never played any of the Baldur's Gates way back
No.
in the day? No, I mean it plays like, you know,
Turns.
it's very RPG-ish, but it's definitely um is he bugged out?
It's just like Divinity.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I don't know, man. I don't know a whole lot about it. I just know that it kind of went into early access today. It's not even really officially out. They just call it early access these days, which seems I don't understand why the studios do that. Is it a cash thing? Like we're out of money. We need
Maybe.
to
I don't know.
early access to get, because I feel like Wilson, like all the ARPGs are doing this. Um, but yeah, man, it came out. I don't know much about it. I've read a couple reviews. I've seen a couple reviews on this, and the reviews are pretty bad.
Is
So
it?
from what I've seen, but
Mm.
that, everybody's got a different take on things. So, um, but the couple, I've only seen like 3 reviews, and the 3 reviews I saw, one guy was like, "I wish I could have my time back."
Mm.
One guy was like, they shouldn't have released it yet," and another guy was like, it's not really that good, but it's okay. So I haven't heard anybody go like, "Yo, this is great," but graphically, like from the gameplay video, it looks pretty good. Graphically, it doesn't look
Ugh.
horrible. It doesn't look, Diablo 4, but it doesn't look horrible. So yeah, man, that came out. I'm just gonna keep my eye on it. That's really all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say, if you guys that are watching this, drop some comments in the YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube, and tell us if you've played it, if you bought it, if you've seen it. What do you think?
Have you ever played
Uh,
one of these like turn-based?
I played Baldur's Gate 2,
Okay.
and I don't remember it being turn-based. I remember like running around and zapping things, I felt like, but maybe it was, and I just don't remember because it's been 20 years.
Mm.
Baldur's Gate, either 1 or 2, was on PlayStation. Uh, PlayStation 1, I think. And I remember that was like my first ARPG for real. Like I think I played that, and then I played Neverwinter Nights. It was like, did you ever play that one either? That was a
I
really, really old
think
school,
so.
like kind of introduction to ARPG, but that was, a hard D&D based style thing, I think. I've never gotten to D&D, like it's never been my thing, you know.
Right.
So, but I have played some of the games that kind of reference that a little bit. So we'll see, man. We'll see what Baldur's Gate ends up being. It's not exactly what I thought it would be, but it's I'm interested in it. So, we'll see if we can. I just don't want to. So that kind of leads me into my next subject, which is $60 pre-orders. Like, to get beta access, they want you to pre-order, and I think this is scummy. I think this is becoming a thing,
Yeah.
and it's super scummy. You know?
Yeah. I wonder. I mean, we're just guessing, but I wonder what the insight is there. Is it because they actually do need funding, or is it? I don't know. Investors need to know that there's interest in it, so they need to see like pre-orders or people buy in or
Yeah,
something like that.
like
I
they
don't
could
know.
get beta testers for free that would give valid feedback, and they don't have to buy it. But if you think you have a quality game, you think you would just give the beta access to people. If you think you have a shitty game, then you're like, well, people are going to shit on this. Let's go ahead and just get some money while we can, to
Mhm.
get access. I don't know. I will say, I know we've talked about it a little bit in the past, but I will say that Anthem was a free beta, and I played Anthem's beta, and it was bad. It was really bad, and it made me not buy the game. I actually got a copy of the game. Somebody hooked me up with a copy of the game, but I wasn't going to spend my money on it after I played the beta. And I had the exact same experience with Marvel's Avengers. I wasn't going to buy Marvel's Avengers because the beta was so bad too. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I'm like, oh, I was hyped for it, and I played the beta, and I was like, man, this isn't very good. Same scenario. Somebody ended up gifting me the game, and I played it, and it was better than the beta, but still not phenomenal. So I feel like if the game's really good, do a free beta, and if your game's shitty, then they're gonna make you try to pay for it. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
we don't trust our product, so pay us to play. You know. But Baldur's Gate 3 is out, so I'll keep my eyes on it.
Yay.
You know, keep my eyes on it.
I will not.
I'm excited for like any new ARPG stuff that's coming down. It seems like,
But
but
this
we're not.
is
There's not a
this an
lot.
ARPG? I don't
I
know.
mean, kind of. I don't know. I'm not sure how to classify it yet because I haven't played it enough. You know. If it's a turn-based fighting game, then what is it? What is it considered if it's not
I don't
just an
know.
RPG?
Whatever Divinity is called, that.
Yeah. So,
Not my cup of grog.
and then the saddest news of the last 6 months.
This?
Not this. Well, this too. That's good news. It's fake though. We'll talk about this since you pulled it up.
Okay.
So floating around Twitter, somebody made this like Henry, who's Superman? Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dreamboat. How could you
And
forget his name?
Henry Cavill, who also played The Witcher. Somebody has cast him in like a WoW teaser series, Wrath of the Lich King teaser series. This is not real at all, I don't think. But from what I understand, it's like somebody was saying that Henry actually was like saying like, dude, that's badass. And because he's a WoW player, he's played WoW before in the past. And I think that he's like, fuck yeah, I would do it. You know what I mean? So would you be interested in that? If that was a thing, would you be like, okay, I'm check it out? Or are you just like, I don't care?
I mean, honestly, like the Lich King was the only thing that ever like quasi interested me with World of Warcraft.
Mhm.
I was disappointed when like the World of Warcraft movie like had nothing to do with this, and it was just all whatever
It
it
was really
was.
early lore. Yeah.
Yeah.
The WoW movie was like the beginning.
Didn't care for it. So I mean, I think this is more interesting overall. Although now I don't know that they could do it because everyone just be like, "Oh, you're copying uh, Game of Thrones."
I mean, the story's not the same. Well, yeah. I mean, the Lich King commanding undead army,
Yeah.
maybe.
And they all go blue and shit. Like, come on.
I mean, but WoW came. Well, the books were written before Wrath of the Lich King. I mean, the first Lord of the Rings book was written in like '96, I think, something like that. I mean, I had a copy of the book in high school, so
Lord of
that's
the
like the
Rings.
only book.
I mean, Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're right. I was thinking of Game of Thrones. Yeah, Lord of the Rings was written in like the fucking 40s or
Yeah.
50s or some shit. It's like hell old. Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there and see what people thought.
Sure.
I'm super nerd. Like I think the Warcraft movie was great, so I'd be down for a series or another movie. And then the sad news though, they delayed the World of Warcraft expansion. God damn.
When's it being delayed? Did they give us a date?
They said later this year, so that means at maximum December 31st, right? But that buys them 2 months, man. Like 2 months. So can they fix all the problems in 2 months? The beta apparently is a shit show. Like super buggy, super bad, things not working, systems not even fleshed out. So that's pretty bad, man. I'm bummed out about it. But at the same time, it's like they made the right decision. You can't release a game broken, It ruins the thing. Like we've talked about it. If you release Diablo 4 broken, you're never going to get your people back. And
Right.
like this is an expansion. If they launch this expansion broken, people are like, well, fuck Shadowlands. I'm done. Never
See
coming
you
back.
in 2 years for
Yeah.
the next
See you when the
expansion.
next expansion hits, maybe. You know what I mean? And then
Real.
the next expansion will drop and like, remember Shadowlands? It was fucking shit, and just talk trash the whole time.
Yep.
So yeah, man, they made the right move. I think it sucks for people that scheduled vacation. I know a lot of my community had scheduled vacation and around it and stuff, and they're pretty pissed off. But it's like, man, it's better. It's better than the alternative of dropping a crappy expansion.
Yeah, it makes me wonder too. Is so the BlizzCon line? What's the date for that? Did they say?
BlizzCon line February, I think. So.
But I wonder if they knew about this.
February 19th and 20th.
Yeah. So like, where are they going to show it
later
this
thing? Year. I don't know. Diablo 4. So they still got the same things from the last BlizzCon. They got Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, and then they always do Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone stuff.
People are saying like, oh, this is when they're gonna release Immortal. Do you think that'd be wise?
No, not unless they got some super juice for D4. I don't think it's smart to release Immortal. I don't know, man. It's such a thing. I don't know. I think unless they drop some serious D4 juice, they can't drop Immortal. Like they gotta be like playable beta for you guys. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna drop Immortal. Like they gotta mask the launch of Immortal with Diablo 4 to like soften people up, to make them be like, oh, okay, cool.
I think that like I'm like release time Immortal, whatever, but I think the idea of associating BlizzCon to Diablo Immortal in any way, shape, or form is probably a bad play.
Never touch it.
Yeah, just like let it release on its own. Like you can throw it on the launcher and all that stuff and get people excited about it. You know,
I
do
think
a
it's
bunch
gonna
of
launch
commercials and
overseas.
stuff.
No,
Yeah,
it'll launch in the East first, and they'll try it
No
there
way.
and work. You don't think? You think
No
it's gonna
way.
hit here at the same time?
Yes, I think it'll hit here first, probably.
I don't know. I don't know how they do it, man. I think it's got such a bad rap now at this point, thanks to you, that they're never gonna.
Yeah, it's all me. Mm-hmm.
I think no, but seriously though, I do think that it's. I don't know how they handle that PR mess they created with BlizzCon 18, because that could have been avoided totally. Like they didn't even release the game in 18 or 19. Like they didn't show us any Diablo juice until BlizzCon 19.
Mm-hmm.
And if they could have held that Diablo Immortal announcement until BlizzCon 19 and then showed the D4 and then done Immortal, people wouldn't even have been pissed. They would have been like,
might have
yo,
been excited. Yeah.
yeah, they would have been like, yo, we got a Diablo game on the phones too. That's really cool. Like, I think it would have been 180-degree difference, but so I don't know how they handle it, and monetization matters more than anything.
Right.
I just don't know how. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do for BlizzCon Line. You know,
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They haven't
I would-
they haven't reached out to me yet, so I don't know. I don't know what their play is. It just seems weird. I would
yeah,
have gotten my invite yet already. You know, it's weird.
drives. You know, have fluff featured on the front. They could even do that screenshot of you standing there holding the mic
Yeah,
in the pink pants.
Just BlizzCon Line to me is like I don't need.
Yeah, like, are they going to charge for it? You know, is it going to be free
Yeah.
to everybody? I don't. Those are some huge questions. I hope it's free to everybody.
Yeah, I would think
be
that
a smart thing.
they would have something here that's like reserve your ticket now for $20 if they were going to charge for it. So it kind of makes it seem like it's going to be free.
Hopefully, it's free. I hope it's free, because I think it's a. If they charge for it, people are just going to stream it or leak it on YouTube anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not like you're going to get. I don't know. I think it's a smart play for Blizzard, for PR move, just to make it free.
Right.
So.
Agreed.
That's really about it. You want to talk about you got some fluff hates?
Oh man, where do I even begin? I can't talk about politics, but there's a lot going on there this week. Gosh.
I mean, so for my love stuff, you know, I kind of already ruined it because I wanted to talk about pre-order access and how shitty it is. So that was going to be my love for the week. So I kind of spilled the beans early, and then talk about WoW being pushed back and how I actually do like that Blizzard did that, and I think it's the right move, and I hope that they continue to do that for other games. Like, I hope they don't release Diablo 4 until it's ready. I don't want them to Activision to be like, listen, man, you guys got to get this game out in 21,
Yeah.
and then they release some garbage ass game. So just get it right. And I think this WoW's done some things, man. They're listening to the community feedback. They postponed the game and didn't push it out like they haven't in other expansions. So I kind of feel like maybe all this bad PR has made Blizzard be like, okay, let's try to fix things, man. Let's get the ship going the right direction again. So
Yeah, for sure. Gosh, I don't know that I have a hates. Like, you could probably name any subject and I have a hates, but nothing's coming to mind.
It's not toxic today. No worries, man. We can jump into the Twitter questions.
Do it. I hate Twitter questions.
You hate Twitter questions? Oh my gosh. It's my favorite part of this podcast. Episode 118, Twitter questions. If you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, all you got to do is you can tweet at us on Twitter at Lord__Fluffy or at ThaPChild. You can join our Discords. There should be links in the YouTube video below. If you're watching live, I think maybe some of the mods could hook that up. But you can just join our Discords and ask your questions there. The first one comes from Treesap. Treesap says, do you think Diablo 4 is heading in the right direction? Do you think it's going to be a good game?
Those are kind of separate questions, really.
Okay.
I think that, you know, of everything we saw of this last quarter 3 update, the very first paragraph where they said, okay, the angelic, demonic, ancestral, we get it. We kind of heard you, and it's not cool enough. I think that was a spark of hope for me, anyways. Is there was some concern that was going to be like a thing, and there's like, okay, we talked about it twice now, so we're just going to go forward. So I think that they're doing okay at listening to feedback right now. We'll have to see and continue to watch how that develops and how much they're going to take from the community and stuff like that, and how much that slippery slope is going to fall into play where at the end of the day, they're just going to make their call and like, well, this works better for console players, or this makes more sense for us. So we're just going to like do what we want at the end of the day. But I don't know. We'll just have to continue to watch how it develops. But definitely every single time they do their first try at something, it's always, wow, this is so casual and this is so underwhelming. So hopefully we just continue to see iterations and it just gets better. But it's definitely alarming that everything they show us first is always like, gosh, that's it.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know if I can say it's heading in the right direction. It's heading in a better direction than it was prior to this last update, I feel. But like Fluff said, I'm really nervous that I think they're gonna over casualify the game. And to me personally, I've experienced that. I think from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, they casualified the game like on a crazy level from Destiny 1 to 2. And Destiny 2 started off with like the 3-week honeymoon phase. And then 3 weeks in, people realized none of the choices matter on anything. And there's no depth. And it killed the game. I mean, absolutely murdered Destiny 2. And it tried to make a comeback, and it's done okay at times, but just outside of if you like or dislike Destiny 2, if you're interested in what happens if you over casualify a game, just do some research on that because people have talked about it. But it destroyed Destiny 2 and hurt that franchise really badly. I really hope they lean towards the side of making things too complicated.
Yeah.
If they're going to lean either direction. But yeah, I think I agree with what Fluff said, man. I think that most of the things we've seen are rehashes of information that's already been dropped in BlizzCon 2019. Very little new information has come out since then. And it all seems to be not a home run on first sight. It seems to be like a swing and a miss most every time. So even the skill tree, like I said, if you guys haven't already broken down the skill tree, did your video do that, Fluff? Did you break down? So like Fluff's got a YouTube video up where he talks about the skill tree. Like go watch some of these things where you really critically analyze the skill tree. And it's like by the time you're done and you're thinking about it, you're like, damn, man, it's really not as deep as I kind of think it should be or would want it to be, at least for me.
It's kind of the same as they presented it in the demo. Yeah. Really?
It's pretty nutty. Like the more you start breaking it down, like how they just masked it really well.
Yeah.
So, do I think it's going to be a good game? I hope, man. I think that it's a big investment. This is a big money item for Blizzard. Like this is a huge investment and it's a huge payday. And it's like everything about this is a big chunk of Blizzard's profits going forward. So I hope that they realize that and get it right. The problem is they got so many people, man. They got a huge team of devs working on this. They got Activision dipping their hands in. They got who knows how many Blizzard execs dipping their hands in. So ultimately, who gets to make the final decision? Like, is it the guy that they hired from Gears of War 5? Like, I don't know. Like, but I hope.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting because as I said, kind of last week is just impress us for one. You know what I mean? Like just come out with something that is too complicated. I kind of even want to see if Blizzard, it's going to sound toxic, but is even capable of, like making something that's kind of big brain or developing a system that's like people are like, whoa, like Blizzard, that's too much, or slow down, Blizz, instead of just being like everyone always reacting of, if
they would have dropped a POE skill tree on us in that last dev blog, like, could you imagine how I'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't see how it would be bad. You know what I mean? Like how would people, you think that casualers are going to be like, fuck this game, I'm not going to play. Look at that. I mean, maybe people tell me that POE is too complicated all the time. and I'm not going to play it. It's too deep. Like, so I mean, there's another side that it's hard to see, I guess, for me personally, because I just play Diablo 3 all the time, and I'm like, man, I wish there was more things in this game. I love this game. I wish there were just more things in the game. And so I want D4 to be that thing. I don't know.
But you got to wonder, even if they had shown us like a Path of Exile scale tree, like they're going to Blizzify it. And I feel like it's going to make more sense to look at, because it is Blizzard. Like they're going to do their best to make it like visible towards casuals. Yeah. I would think that, like, I don't know, the reaction might be like, whoa, you guys copying Path of Exile, Megalol, but I don't know that is a negative thing necessarily.
I don't think anybody would. I mean, maybe there'd be a couple like hardcore fanboys that would, but most people would be like, fuck yeah. I can't, if you were like, oh, you copied POE, Megalol, those guys would probably be ones that'd be like, oh, I'm interested now. I wasn't, but now I am. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hope it's going in the right direction. I think we'll know a lot when we get this last dev blog, December 31st, or whatever the Tuesday is before December 31st. So, because that's when they said they're going to talk about itemization. And if we get some rehashed, like barely changed things from like the BlizzCon 2019, then like, what have they been doing this whole time? You know what I mean? Because it's been it's been over a year. And I feel like, it's been a year almost now, and we haven't really got any new hardcore things to talk about.
Yeah.
Like so except for the demonic angelic stuff, which is not great.
Right.
Front Loaded said, if you had to choose between saving your pet or saving a random stranger's infant baby, who would you save? You pick your cat over. So like your cat's falling, this baby's falling, and you're snagging your cat.
What? Not even a question. Not even a moment of hesitation.
I'd save the baby, dude. I'd save the baby.
Because you have kids, I guess. Maybe that's the distinction.
I guess, man. I guess. I mean, I don't like my cat near as much as you either. I'd also eat my cat for like $10 million.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I'd eat my cat's name is Danny. I'd eat a Danny sandwich for $10 million, man. Done. Who wouldn't, man? Like, who wouldn't eat their pet for $10 million besides Fluff? I'm just saying.
That's like the hardest thing ever.
It would be a nasty sandwich, but taking one for the team, kitty. X says, what was an absolute requirement for you to date someone? It's like, what is something, like, if they didn't have this check mark, get out of here.
Yeah, I'd like to take the high road here and say gleaming personality. But I gotta go. It's gotta be banging hot. I'm just kidding.
Mine's like a non-smoker. If they're a smoker, I'm not interested.
Kids. Yeah, that's a good one. Smokers made me instantly think of, oh yeah, I would never date someone with kids. Yeah.
Kids? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Oh, Fluff hates kids.
I do. I'm not even ashamed to say that.
Not even ashamed to say it.
No.
Yeah. Smoker for me.
Smokers out there. I agree.
It's just a turn off. Like, and if you're a smoker, that's cool. Like, you can do your thing, but I couldn't date a smoker because I'm gonna constantly be around that, and I'm not gonna like kiss the person and just like, nope. Like, you're gonna try to smoke in my house or my car. Like, that's not going down.
Mm-mm.
I actually had somebody. I was given a ride to my wife at the time. We had just started dating, and one of her friends. I was picking them up from somewhere and taking them home. And then all of a sudden I started smelling smoke, and her friend like lit up a cigarette in the back of my car without like, hey, do you, like, not asking nothing. And I'm like, as soon as I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, throw that out the window, dude. You can't smoke in here. And she was like, seriously? And I'm like, yeah, throw that the fuck out of the window. Like, I pulled over and I was like, either get out or throw the cigarette. And like, had to be a dick getting her to put it out. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Light up without asking in somebody's car?
Yeah. Especially a non-smoker. Like, who does that?
Man, like kissing somebody that is a smoker. Like, I've never smoked. I've never even taken a puff of a cigarette. And like, to kiss someone that is a smoker, it's like putting your fucking mouth on a tailpipe or something.
I've done it once. Yeah, I've done it one time. I kissed a smoker once, and it was like, what the fuck? Like you could taste it?
No,
I was just
you
like,
taste it, you breathe it, and it's just like,
yeah,
"Wah!"
I was just like, I didn't realize this much air exchange
Right?
happened. And two, like this shit is in your body like all the
Yeah,
time. Like that was a huge to me. And I was young when this happened. I was probably like 15, you know. There was this hot girl. She was a couple years older than me. She was smoking and shit. And
yeah. It's
you
so
know,
weird too, because it'd be like the small petite girl that's attractive,
Mhm.
and then you go to kiss her, and it's like, am I kissing a car mechanic right now? Like, what is going on?
What the fuck's going on?
Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened?
I was done, dude. Like it was, you know, like I said, I was a young kid and she was hot and we were at this party and we kissed for a couple seconds and I'm like, peace. I'm like, I was out. I'm like, you're gonna give me like lung cancer or some shit. I don't know what's going down right
Weird.
now. Let's see. Dirt Nap says, what are you sick of explaining when D4 is coming out?
When D4 is coming out.
No, I don't know. I don't know. It's something I have to explain all the time. Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
guess
you got something?
more stuff like at work. I don't really get that on stream. Like I can empathize with the players who are like, how do you have how are you able to keep up 100% uptime on Land of the Dead? Like I get that probably more than anything, but like I don't ever like, God, fucking idiot. Like it's always like, oh, you know, someone's trying to learn the game. I'm excited and I empathize.
Yeah, I'm the same there.
Yeah.
For work stuff. Or yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Work stuff, I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah, work stuff all the time. Like, are you fucking idiot? Like how many times have I shown you this?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I would say that probably one of the most frequent things I get asked, at least in the content creation realm, is when is D4 going to come out?
Hmm.
And I don't really explain it. I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like 2023 is like my new answer, you know?
Sure.
So, Hit Me Up 88 says, what is the best Van Halen song ever? This is topical because if you didn't know, Eddie Van Halen, the lead guitarist of the rock band Van Halen, passed away today. He had cancer, 65 years old. I've personally been rocking Van Halen since I found out. I don't know if anybody else out there did that. If you guys were like, fuck, and then you just threw some on. I've actually haven't listened to Van Halen in probably years, man. And I threw on like the greatest hits playlist, and it was a blast from the past. I grew up listening to them in the 80s. So my older brother, I have an older brother and younger brother, all kinds of brothers, but my oldest brother is in a band, a very successful band that was like on MTV and shit. And he turned me on to Van Halen as a kid. So I grew up rocking them out quite a bit. So
I will just be brutally honest here. So
you don't know any songs?
I know the Van Halen, like that name is a household name. If you ask me to name a single Van Halen song, there's no way I could do that. Is that a person or a band? I'm still not even sure.
It's the name of a band, but the drummer and the guitar player's last name was Van Halen, and they got the name of the band from them. I think they started it. Alex was the drummer, Eddie was the guitar player, and Sammy Hagar was the singer, lead singer, and then Michael Anthony was the bass player. That was four of those dudes. And they started the band, and I think they just liked his last name was maybe why they chose it. I don't know if there's a story behind that or not, but
okay. So let me give some context. So you and I are almost the same age. We kind of grew up in the same generation and stuff. And so you listened to that stuff because it was very relevant at the time.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm sure if your father or whoever was around was listening to that. Yeah. My dad was a music teacher and a composer. So we listened to like Beethoven and Mozart.
Called that shit.
And like it gave me, I don't know, it almost gave me like inherent, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bad taste in music?
Not necessarily bad taste, but like a sort of snobbiness, I guess, to music. If I'm being totally honest. So yeah, when a music isn't like super complex, I don't like it very much. Not that his music isn't, but like I just was not in that realm of music for a very long time. And now the only time I hear that kind of music is like I go to the lake of the Ozarks, and it's like all the shit you hear. And so I just associate that music now with like that type of crowd.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a double like bad thing for me now. So I'll just be honest, chat. That's it is.
Yeah, chat just corrected me and said that David Lee Roth was the original singer. You guys are right. Yeah, Sammy replaced him later on. So yeah, for me, Jump is my favorite. So that's the answer to the question. But there's a lot of good songs.
See, I could like sing it, maybe some of it. I've heard it.
Yeah, I remember the Pepsi song as a kid growing up too. They had crystal clear Pepsi commercials. I don't know why I remember this, man, but I do. But they used the Van Halen song in the crystal clear Pepsi commercials. And as a kid, for whatever reason, I thought crystal clear Pepsi was the shit. I loved it. I was like all about crystal clear Pepsi. I don't know what it was, but I also liked Van Halen. I was like, oh, it's a Van Halen song. That's why I liked the drink, man. They got me.
Whatever happened? Like, why? I wonder what the original decision behind not continuing to release Crystal Pepsi. Because you say like you loved it and it was really popular. Where I was from, people loved it. It was really popular, and then one day it was just like gone.
Yeah. It says that I just Googled it while you were asking that. It says, unfortunately for Pepsi, consumers weren't buying it.
Really?
Not right now. Not weeks or months later. By 1995, the production was discontinued. People rejected it. I don't know, man. It had, to me, I still remember thinking this. It had a powdered sugar taste instead of a regular sugar. It feels like they made it with a powdered sugar because it has that distinct sweetness that like you get on French toast and things like that. And I liked it. But and then the last question we had for the week comes from Single Function, and he said, what is your first memory of the internet? I actually remembered mine. When I saw this question, I was like, oh shit, let me think. And then I really remember.
God damn.
I'll go for mine while you do yours. So for me, it was back in I guess it was high school or junior high. I don't remember, but we got internet at school. And I remember the first time I ever saw it was a kid a couple grades above me. I played basketball, pretty much my whole life. And this kid showed me a video of Darvin Ham breaking the glass in an NCAA game. And so forever, that guy's name is like immortalized in my brain. Darvin Ham, you can look it up, the dunk, and still see it. It's still out there. And I saw that and I was just like, that was like my introduction. I remember like the old shitty web browser, whatever web browser it was back then. I don't even know. Had like this striped candy cane looking loading bar and shit. Like it was horrible, man. No, it was school connection. So it was probably like, what was the net? It was
Netscape.
It was probably Netscape, but I don't even know if that was it. Like it was so long ago. So but I remember this shitty ass web browser and the candy cane, and I remember Darvin Ham dunking and breaking the glass, and I remember replaying it like 50 billion times. I'm like, oh, he broke the glass and shit. So that's the first internet memory I have.
I don't know that I could really pinpoint a single point in time that I was like, because it was so we had it really early because my dad was like all about computers. Even though he's not really that technical of a guy, he was just like all about, I don't know, because it was bleeding edge at the time, I guess. But
yeah,
I can't remember a single memory. I just remember like that moment where the answers that you need were like reachable. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have to go to the library anymore to find out.
Yeah, it's weird,
stuff,
isn't it though?
Right?
Could you imagine like if you just lost your internet for a day? Like I think of so much random shit, and I'm always just Googling stuff. Like example is like we would have that World of Warcraft conversation, and I'd be like, I wonder how old Henry Cavill is. Let's look it up.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I wonder what his net worth is. And then I'll look that up. And then it's like, well, like what year was Witcher made? Like the video game. Is there not like you just go down rabbit holes of just like random shit all the time, So
but at the same time, do you ever think about the flip side of that coin where it's like, what would be better? Like what experiences would be better without the internet? And so I always think of like like my motorcycle vacations, and like what the hell would that look like in a world where I couldn't do all this research beforehand? Like, I'm just like, I pick a country on a map, and I'm like, I just go there, and like, that'd be fucking wild.
No maps, no anything.
Paper maps, but goddamn,
paper maps, man. Could you imagine? Like, so we're old enough. My first job was my first actual job. Like, I had like grass cutting jobs and shit as a kid. My first actual job was working at a pizza place, and I was a cook and I made pizzas. But a couple times they would have drivers not show up, and so I was 16, and they're like, "Hey, we need a driver. Do you want to drive for like an hour or two or whatever?" And as a cook, you're like, "Fuck yeah," because you're still getting more pay as the cook, but you also get to keep the tips. So it was way better money.
Yeah.
And at 16, you're broke as fuck. So I'm like, yeah, I'll drive. They gave me a paper map. Like, you would get an address, they'd call in, and then you'd have this address written down, and then you would get out like this city map thing and like flip through the pages to figure out where the hell you're supposed to go. And it was like, by today's standards, man, I couldn't even, like, now I'm just like, type an address in and hit go, and like, I don't even look at the map. My Google tells me through my speakers in my car when to turn left and right. So like, my kids are never gonna, like, they would be fucked, man. Like,
like, it's so wild.
Like, how do you use this?
Yeah, I can remember like all phases of navigation. Like, I remember like looking at maps. Like, as a kid, we would take family trips, and we would paper map that shit, because that shit didn't exist.
Same here. And you look at the mile markers on the highway, and you figure out where you're at.
Crazy. And then we both have that very.
Those are on the side of the highway, by the way. Those are mile markers.
Yeah, and then we both have that very like surreal experience of, okay, MapQuest became a thing, and it was, like, if you didn't have a printer, you'd be like trying to write down the steps as best you could, or like maybe you did have a printer and you could print it out, and you'd be like following that thing like a Bible, and even then you'd get lost, and you'd have to like go to a gas station and just like ask, like, I'm trying to get here, do you know where it is? Because you couldn't just be like, phone, tell me where to go. Like, if you got lost, you're kind of effed.
I got lost downtown St. Louis trying to get to the stadium to go to a Rams game, and I ended up in a really shitty part of St. Louis where
wait, they're all shitty.
I should not be there. And I asked the cop, like, I didn't have a map, you didn't have a phone, you didn't have any of that shit, right? Yeah. And so I'm like pretty nervous, man. I'm like, I could legitimately get killed down here. And I see a cop, and I'm like, fuck yeah, there's a cop. And I'm like, I'm gonna ask directions. And I drive up to this cop and I say, hey sir, excuse me, like, how do I get out of here? And he was like, what the fuck are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm trying to go to the Rams, I'm trying to go to Edward Jones Dome. I don't know how to get there. And he's like, I don't think he believed me. I think he thought I was buying drugs, honestly, because he's like, he grilled me for a couple seconds, and then he's like, the highway's that way, and just pointed. And I'm like, okay. And I drove that way, and that motherfucker lied, dude. The highway was not that way. I think he was trying to get me killed. I don't know what was going on that day, man. But yeah, that's the life before phones. Like, in I didn't have a map in the car and this kind of stuff. It's just like, oh, shit.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's nuts. That's it, man. That's all we had this week. Yeah. You guys want to submit questions? You know where to get us: Twitter, Twitch, on our Discords.
Yeah, you can catch us, 2 weeks from now, two boomers talking about maps.
Two boomers talking about right. Showing our age, man. Jesus. You guys don't even know how to use a cassette player these days.
Yeah, an 8-track, bro.
I didn't grow up with 8-tracks, so luckily I'm not that old.
I had record player, 8-tracks.
You had 8-tracks?
All that checks, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have an 8-track. All right, guys. I will catch you next week, or no, 2-3 weeks from now for episode 119. If you want to find more of me, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all of the places at ThaPChild.
Yeah, and I'm Lord_Fluffy. Double those underscores on the Twitter. We'll see you guys on the 27th. Potentially before then, we'll talk about it. But until then, boys, peace out.